everybody! So today is Sunday and that means it's time for family movie night, and this week I thought it would be fun to do a romantic movie since we had Valentine's this week or last week, and I thought it would be a cool time to finally do. I've been wanting to do You've Got Mail for a long time, and it seemed like, why not do it now? And You've Got Mail is not initially thought of as a family film, and it does have a few little things that might bother some parents, and so I'll talk about that. But it's one of my favorite movies of all time, not even just favorite romantic movies. I love it because of the writing. Most of all, Nora Ephron died in 2012, but she was just an amazing writer, and the way that she is able to comment on things while still remaining so likable and so funny and still work it into good stories, I think is just second to none. If I could write like anybody, it would be to write like Nora Ephron. I love her writing, and I think that that You've Got Mail is one of the best remakes ever made. It is based on the Jimmy Stewart classic, The Shop Around the Corner. The story is very simple. It's basically about two people who are pen pals who meet each other in real life, hate each other in real life, but fall in love with each other's writing. And of course, in the modern example, the pen pal is over email. Meg Ryan plays Kathleen Kelly, who is the owner and runs a bookstore, a small, quaint children's bookstore that was set up by her, or that was founded by her mother. Her mother has passed away, and so the store is not only her source of income, but it's also her sort of remaining attachment to her mother. And then you have Tom Hanks playing Joe Fox, who is the son of a company that called Fox Books, which is these mega bookstores. And it's really interesting now looking at it, because those mega bookstores are really kind of on the outs. Borders is gone. Barnes and Noble isn't doing that well, because books have been kind of slowly being replaced by electronic books as far as paper books. And so it's sort of interesting to see that now it's like the Barnes and Nobles and stuff are the ones that are kind of on the outs and looking at Amazon and stuff like that, and that they were sort of the big bad corporate companies and taking over these small bookstores. And so that's sort of the base of the story. And you have the Meg Ryan character that is emailing the Tom Hanks character. It turns out that they get along great with their writing, but they hate each other in their work environment. And I think what's great about this movie is that it's actually a really interesting movie about work. A lot of people would just dismiss it as this fluffy comedy, romantic comedy, but I think there's more to it than most people let on. What you have here is two people that have defined themselves by their jobs and their careers, and yet it's not really who they are. And it's only when they are writing somebody that outside of, as a sort of secret identity, outside of their being viewed as their job, that their true self really comes out, and that they're able to fall in love. And so I think there's something really powerful kind of about that. And the Meg Ryan character says, Kathleen says towards the end that if all of these things had never happened, then she would never have started to become a writer. She would never have found this whole new side. And I think that sometimes that's what happens with all of us, is we become so tied to our job that we think that our job is who we are, and it really shouldn't be who we are. Like our life should have so much more meaning as far as family and the people in our lives. And so I don't know, I think that there's something there in this film actually about that. I love I love Nora Ephron's writing but I love when Meg Ryan says about change, and she says people always say change is a good thing, but all they really mean is that something you didn't want to have happen has happened. And she talks about going through the loss of the store and what it has meant to her, and how it's forced her to relive the death of her mother and all of that. And so I think it's a really interesting thing to think about, and like how tied are we to our jobs, and how tied are we to our careers. And it's one of the things that in La La Land kind of bothered me a little bit, is that this idea of a dream and a career are kind of muddled together into this mixture. And I don't know how healthy that really is, especially when it begins to intrude on actual real relationships with people. And sometimes that can happen. It can really happen. And so anyway, I love the dialogue between all the characters. I love that Nora Ephron's run. I love how she goes on these sort of diatribes, you might call them, where she is giving sort of her social commentary about the world, like her little speech on Starbucks, I think is brilliant.
The purpose of places like Starbucks is for people with no decision-making ability whatsoever to make 6 decisions just to buy 1 cup of coffee. Short, tall, light, dark, calf, decaf, low-fat, non-fat, etc. So people who don't know what the hell they're doing or who on earth they are can, for only $2.95, get not just a cup of coffee, but an absolutely defining sense of self.
Skim caramel macchiato.
Tall, decaf, cappuccino.
Tall decaf cappuccino.
You have really funny dialogue between a lot of the side characters and the lead characters. It's got a great supporting cast. I really like the conversation between, I like Gene Stapleton in this. I love Greg Kinnear in this. So funny. His scene when he is being interviewed, I should say, by a local reporter, and they're getting kind of attracted to each other. That scene is hilarious. I just love when he's like, you need quiet while the hot dog is singing. I just think that's really funny. I like when he's like, she fell in love with Generalissimo Franco. He's like, I don't want to. And he's like, people do crazy stuff when they're in Europe. Sure, they buy leather jackets for way more than they're worth, but they don't fall in love with fascist dictators. I don't know, I love the writing in this. I think it is so funny and so sweet, and I just love all of the performances. I mean, it goes without saying, they have amazing chemistry between Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. This is their 3rd movie together at this point. I would love to see them come back together and do another movie. I miss Nora Ephron, and I've missed her so much because there just hasn't been anybody like her since she passed. Nobody's filled in the void. And if you want to read some great books, you should read her books of essays. They're so funny and so emotional and so sweet. And I love the way that New York becomes a character in this movie. The West Side, when I go to New York, I loved kind of finding the Grace Papaya and finding the Riverside Park and finding all the different stuff and the way they talk about like New York in the fall. And I don't know, it just makes it such a pleasant experience to watch, I think. And I love it. I love watching this movie. It's one of my most rewatched movies since I was in high school. It came out right at the end of my high school. So yeah, definitely. I think as far as content, what you need to be concerned about, there are 2 couples that are living together before they're married, and there is a little bit of innuendo that is sprinkled throughout. So, you just have to decide for yourself with your family what you feel comfortable with. But I really, really love You've Got Mail. So, and Dave Chappelle is hilarious in it too. He's very, very funny. So it's just a great movie. I love it. So let me know what you think about You've Got Mail. And thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.